So good morning, we're back on the Chesterfield Canal and we're here today to look at a long time disused section called the Brindley Loops. So Brindley Loops is part of that disused section, that disused 9 miles between Staveley and Kiverton Park. But it's not just disused, there's a little bit of an interesting backstory to this. So why are they called the Brindley Loops? So Chesterfield Canal, it was opened in 1777. It was designed by famous canal builder James Brindley, hence the Brindley Loops. Now, one of the trademarks of the canals that James Brindley built was that they tended to follow the contours of the land rather than use expensive and time-consuming locks. And this is exactly what we're going to see today. So I'm starting today's explore from Renishaw. I've just started by the Renishaw, former Renishaw Ironworks, a little bit of canal that's been already restored. No, it's not really looking in great condition at the minute, to be honest. So I'm making my way up towards Spinkhill, or just round the side of Spinkhill, and we're going to be joining up with the old route of the Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire Railway, or as you might know it better, the Great Central Railway, just over in this direction over here. So since I was last here, at some stage over the course of the summer, they've erected some notice boards and little signs like that to let people know, which I think is really useful, because I used to run around here all the time when I just lived up the road, and I never realised the history of the canal until I started making these videos. So according to the new maps that have been installed, this would have been called Spinkhill Wharf. You can see its current day purpose. But I'll catch up with you when we get to the route of the old railway line, because that's where things start to get a little bit more interesting. So you might have seen one of my previous videos where I did the full length of that 9 miles of disused Chesterfield Canal. So I did cover these sections, but I didn't cover them in fantastic detail, and I've always wanted to come back and just do a little bit more in detail filming, but the visits I've kind of paid this year, early this year, it's just been too overgrown to see anything. So I've been waiting for things to die down, been waiting for winter, so hopefully it's going to uncover a few more interesting things now we're in December. Right, so we've reached the huge railway line now, so let me just explain a little bit about what happened at this point. So we've come from that direction, that's the long way around to Renishaw. So this canal opened 1777 or thereabouts, give or take a few years depending on which section. So around 120 years later, this happened. Right across the path of the canal arrived the Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire Railway, otherwise known as the Great Central Railway. So that arrived in 1892. Let me just run back up the bank and I'll show you what happened when the railways arrived. Again, looking back from where we've just come. So from 1892, the canal was diverted right alongside the railway line, so it basically cut out all the section that we're about to see from now. In reality, this new diverted section didn't last very long at all, because in around what we're looking less than 15 years later, the collapse of the Norwood Tunnel further up the canal just basically cut this whole section off. So yeah, the new section didn't really get much of a lifespan at all, really. But let's cross over the Great Central Line. It's now known as the Transpennine Trail, and we'll pick up with the route of the original Brindley Loop. Disused railway sleeper. I hope I'm bringing a bit of colour to the video. It is a bit dark today. And a bit of stonework. Looks like it could have been a gate post, that one. But we'll see along this section we've got all sorts of various shapes of stones, masonry. So here we are, we're walking down the canal bed. So the towpath would have been, I believe, that section on the raised bit there that you can also walk on. I'll show you in a minute. So yeah, so just to recap, this bit's been disused since the 1890s. Show you on the top. Would have been the towpath. There's not many places where you can actually walk down the bottom of an old canal bed. Quite a bit more masonry and stonework. Just discarded down this end. And the same on the other side of the towpath as well. So you can see that we're quite high up, following the contours. It's quite some engineering this to say this is 1700s. So the canal takes a sharp turn to the right now. It starts to follow the contours a little bit more curvy, because that section was still quite straight. So we're at the section now. This would have been apparently this would have been a gauging lock and also a toll station. So let's have a look. So we're right back into the bottom of the canal now. You can see. Same brickwork on that side. So this would be where it'd be entering the lock, wouldn't it? Look at that old brickwork down there. Red brick. And the top of what looks like a wharf. So we can see that. See that brickwork all along there. There's been a pathway created across the canal here, so get up the other side of it. The Midland Railway just down there. And here's the other side. Now I remember when I came looking at this last time, yeah, this is a lot better now. Yeah, this was inaccessible a couple of months ago. It's all started to die down, so let me try and get to the bottom without breaking my neck. So, right, we're back in the bottom now of the canal. Still plenty of stonework. Quite distinctive, the sides of the canal. Plenty of brickwork. Crazy to think that this is almost 250 years old. Right, so we've got, I saw these when we came last time, so these sluice gates. I'm guessing this was the end of the lock. So back up on the towpath. That's where we've just been down there. It's the end of the gauging lock. So I'll come back down onto the canal bed. I think it's a bit more interesting. You can see it starting to curve a bit more now, starting to wind its way. So what we've got coming up on the left hand side is Chapel Wheel Dam, little reservoir. So the canal made a little bit of a detour around that. As far as we can walk down for the time being. It's a bit overgrown. Really well signposted. Impossible to get lost. There's Chapel Wheel Dam and Reservoir just there. It's on the left hand side. So it is a bit more overgrown, this little bit. As you can see, we're not getting in there. We're coming up to one of my favourite sections. And again, the canal's taking a sharp turn to the left just past here. But we can see where the canal was cut away. It's quite a deep cutting we're in here. Canal goes off under that barbed wire fence. Over the stile. And this next section is listed on that map as one of the points of interest. It's called Brindley's embankment. Which is what we can see. It's quite a drop down there. Again, masonry just scattered everywhere. Yeah, it's another retaining wall for the canal and looks like a wharf side. I've been keeping my eye out for this because I've never spotted it before. It's a bit down the banking, but apparently this is an old boundary post from the 1700s. Looks like a C. So we've got that stonework, the wall of the canal going all the way down there. I can see it peeking through the bushes, and we're right on top of that embankment now. It's quite a drop down there. So this is new. This tree wasn't on its side blocking the path last time I was down here. So I've been walking for about 3 kilometres according to my watch. We're coming to the end of the section of the Brindley Loops that you can actually walk on. So it goes onto private land from here. So that's where we've come from, over that stile. And the canal goes off. You could say that's well and truly lost. Through there, that's not accessible. So we're being diverted back up here, back onto the old Great Central line. But we're not missing out on too much. It rejoins the current alignment only a couple of 100 yards just up there. So we're back onto the old disused railway line now, so I'll show you from the top of the bridge. So there's the old railway line, Great Central, and just running right next to it is the canal, or the new alignment of the canal that's just replaced what we've walked on. So the Brindley Loops just join up about 100 yards in that direction as it starts to head over towards Killamarsh. And the same on that side. So they are restoring this section of the canal eventually. Let's get down there and just have a closer look before I sign off. So we can see it better from down here now. The canal and railway. It's the first time I've been down in the bottom of this section. I'm not going to walk down it, it's too thick. So I'm going to follow the trail now back to Renishaw, back to where we started, but this time in a straight line. So there we have it, that's Brindley Loops. Really enjoyed that. People ask me what are my favourite videos to do, and I really enjoyed that Norbury cutting one that I did. I think it was back in October. So yeah, I really like the canal ones. They're a bit easier to do than the railway ones, to be honest. Really interesting. So I think this video is going to be going out around about Christmas week. So if you're watching it before Christmas, have a nice Christmas. If you're watching it after Christmas, I hope you've had a nice Christmas. If you're watching it any other time of the year, just catching up, then just ignore what I've just said. So give the video a like. Don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time watching one of my videos. And take care, and I'll see you soon on another video.